Most people only dream of living in a castle.
Merci, bonjour.
Meet the families who dream big
Voila.
and call these French castles home. Keys to the Castle, France. Premieres next on HGTV.
It's an exclusive, all-access look behind the doors of the most magnificent castles in France.
Woo, look at this.
From a fairy tale castle with a fine vintage to a medieval wreck bought for less than an average house, now worth a king's ransom. Plus, a castle where you can bathe in 24-karat luxury.
It's a tough job, and somebody's got to do it.
Then, a castle with the most romantic gardens in Europe. It's your VIP pass to walk the halls and meet the people who call these places home.
Whew. Look at this.
Come along, because we have the keys to the castle, France.
Ah, vive la France! The French countryside, fresh French air. I have been from one end of France to the other, searching for the most amazing castles in this part of Europe. Modern castles with modern conveniences. Working homes for people just like you and me.
I'm heading south through the Loire Valley in the west of France to the town of Brizac.
One thing that's great about trying to find the chateaus in the countryside is you get to see a lot of France.
This incredibly beautiful countryside is renowned for its fine wines and stately castles, but the one we're going to visit is definitely the best of the bunch.
Wow! Incroyable! Très magnifique! Chateau Brizac, otherwise known as the Giant of the Loire Valley. And it's a title fitting for the chateau because it's 7 stories high, has more than 200 rooms, and is a chateau fit for a king because Louis XIII was a regular visitor.
This place has got it all. Expensive artwork, a grand ballroom, lavishly appointed royal bedrooms, a medieval kitchen, and its own private theater. And not to mention over 70 acres of vineyards, plus a connection to one of the world's most famous champagne families. It all sounds like a fairy tale, but this is actually home to the Marchioness of Brizac, Larissa. A former ballerina, Larissa married the 13th Duke of Brizac, and they live in the Duke's ancestral home with their children, Annabelle, Delia, Marina, and son Laszlo. So you could say this is one dancer that has well and truly landed on her feet. I mean, how many family homes do you know with a great hall?
Bonjour, madame.
Hello.
Ah, tu parles anglais?
Yes, I speak English.
Now, do I refer to you as the Marchioness of Brizac or?
Oh, Larissa will do.
Larissa.
Yes, Larissa.
Well, Larissa, I guess the first place we should start, we're in a room of portraits. Are these all family portraits?
Yes, they were family portraits, exactly.
This is a very, very familiar name to Americans, and can you tell us who it is? I love this.
This is the Veuve Clicquot from the Champagne family. She was my husband's great-great-great-grandmother. That's why she's actually here.
I'm sure she'd be very proud to know that her champagne is still doing very well, and it's one of my favorites, I might add.
Oh, really?
Seriously, it is. Now, every time I drink it, I will think of her.
Good,
Yeah.
good, I'm pleased.
Very much like a fine wine, Castle Brizac has obviously aged very well. It was acquired in 1502 by René de Cosse, the first Lord of Brizac. It's known as the tallest castle in France, and it has over 204 rooms and 7 giant staterooms laid out over 7 floors. The first floor of this heavenly home is for entertaining guests, so the grander the better. And this 1,000 square foot ballroom is definitely a major head turner.
Another thing, I notice every room I'm walking into so far, I'm doing this.
That's the right thing to do.
Is it?
Yes, you have to visit Brizac with your head up, because the ceilings are really exceptional.
The ceiling is adorned with intricate paintings. It's truly a masterpiece of craftsmanship.
Very often you see the family monogram. You see the double C. It looks like
Chanel.
actually Chanel.
What a good one.
It is actually Charles de Cossé. The first Duke of Brissac was called Charles de Cossé, and that is his monogram, and you'll find it all over the castle.
But enough about the ceiling. It's taking a turn around the floor I'm interested in. This is a ballroom after all, and Larissa was a ballerina.
Could you give me a little twirl? Teach me a little waltz.
Right, okay. Well, now, let's go step forward, 1, 2, 3, and then back. 1, 2.
Now my hand is in the right position.
Yes, absolutely. You're doing very well. And just to look out above the shoulder.
I'm waltzing. Look, Ma, I'm dancing. Et voila.
Oh.
There's no question Castle Brissac puts on a good show. In fact, directly above the ballroom on the second floor, there's an entire room dedicated to doing just that.
Woo! Look at this. This is a proper theater.
Yeah, this is our private theatre.
These days, private screening rooms are the ultimate in home entertainment. But this little showstopper was built by the Duke's great-great-grandmother to indulge her love of the arts. So, does theatrical flair run in the family?
The little mouse told me that you play.
Oh, I play very badly.
Et voila.
Everything at Castle Brissac is on a grand scale. Take the 5 ornate guest bedrooms. Mind you, with the kind of house guests these guys get, they have to be fit for royalty. And apparently, this enormous 4-poster bed comes with a royal seal of approval. The French king, Louis XIII, stayed in this very room in 1620.
This is lovely. Why would King Louis XIII have come to Brissac?
There was a lot of conflict between him and his mother and tensions during the reign, until finally they had a reconciliation here in 1620. They actually signed a treaty here.
The wood panels are more than 400 years old, and the antique tapestries are from Flanders. But if you think all this royal luxury is out of your league, think again. You can enjoy the royal treatment at Brissac for $521 a night. A small price to pay to live like a king. And ask him to show you where the bathroom is.
I noticed that there's no facilities.
Ah, of course there are.
Well, where are they?
Well, maybe you have to guess. You have to try and find them. Where do you think it could be?
Well, that means there's a door somewhere.
We have to look for a doorknob.
Well, okay.
Yes, you're in the right direction.
Et voila.
Yes. We'll go and see the bathroom. Follow me.
The original Louis XIII bathroom was pretty basic, so Larissa stripped it out and created a fresh new look.
Well, we've had to redo this bathroom completely and give it a style, so we've sort of chosen a Victorian style bathroom with an old-fashioned bathtub. People like the comforts of modern quality with a touch of old style bathroom, so we tried to combine the two styles here.
It's not only grand, but it's comfortable. You made it a home.
But the bathroom renovation didn't come cheap. It cost over $6,000. But all that is a small price to pay when you can call Castle Brissac home. Coming up, we meet the family who live in all this splendor. Plus, Castle Tennissu with its own drawbridge.
What an entrance.
Then Castle Canissé, a chateau with 20 lavish bathrooms enjoyed by Napoleon's wife Josephine. And later, I'll check out a major roof renovation at the magnificent Castle Villandry. Price tag, $4.5 million. As fairy tale castles go, Chateau Brissac in the Loire Valley is a real gem. Although the castle is home for Marchioness Larissa de Brissac and her family, it also attracts visitors from all over the world who come to enjoy the sumptuous surroundings. It also has played host to some of the world's top A-list celebrities. One of their favorite hangouts, the Golden Drawing Room.
Oh, and I see why it's the golden drawing room.
Yes. It's
Again, when you go, boom, ceiling.
Yes, yes, it's all done with gold leaf painting.
Magnificent. I see there's pictures dotted around it. So this is kind of a room that...
Souvenirs.
Souvenir room.
Yes. That's Sophia Loren, a lovely lady. We were very happy to have her here. Gérard Depardieu also came.
French export to the United States, Gérard Depardieu.
Yes, great actor. Here we have Jeremy Irons. Very charming.
That's a great picture on the horse.
Larissa has created a wonderful home within the castle for her children, Annabelle, Delia, and Marina.
Bonjour.
They're hidden away on the 3rd floor of the West Wing.
So this is family home.
Yeah, this is really our private section. We've sort of designed it rather modern. We've lowered all the ceilings. It's supposed to be comfortable.
But it's still within the chateau.
Yes.
The apartment is very different from the rest of the castle. It has a more contemporary style. The rooms are light but filled with antique furniture and fabulous flowing drapes. The family apartment has 5 bedrooms, 6 bathrooms, a lavish dining room, a stylish reception room, and a great kitchen. It's a very private sanctuary hidden deep within the castle.
This is my room.
This is your room.
It's actually right now in the middle. We're in the middle of repainting this old cupboard we found in the attic.
Did you paint this yourself?
No, it's my daddy.
Your daddy's doing it.
Yeah.
I think you should help. No?
I'm not sure what the result would be like. Come look this way.
For these guys, castle life is nothing new. After all, their family have been doing it for almost 100 years.
Okay, guys, I will leave you to have your lunch. Thank you very much and have a good day at school, okay?
Thank
Bye-bye.
you. Bye-bye. See you later.
This is where they eat now. But way back in the day, it was on a much grander scale.
This is our main formal dining room.
Wow. And you still use this dining room?
Yes, we use this for special occasions, and here you can see an example of a tea, high tea being set. We try and create original decors for our visitors.
Well, if this is what high tea looks like in the household, I'd be happy to sit down and have a cup with you.
The dining room was served by a giant 500-year-old medieval kitchen buried at the bottom of the castle.
These were the first kitchens of the house, where people really cooked.
Right on the fire.
Right on the fire. And even had pigs roasting, and all the copper pots that you can still use today.
You know, it's interesting. Someone in the States would pay a fortune to have a kitchen like this.
Oh, really?
Yes, absolutely.
Wow.
I mean, you'd have modern conveniences and the refrigerator and everything, and probably a flat screen TV there.
And this is where they used to wash clothes as well.
Oh, so this is a washing machine.
Yeah,
I don't know if I'd want to do my whites in it now. You know, buying a castle is the easy part. Sometimes it doesn't cost much money. But what does cost a fortune is the renovation, maintenance, and general upkeep. Simple things like heating the place. Turning an old medieval wreck into a modern family home.
You think you like doing windows? The castle has over 200 of them, and it takes a professional team of 20 men 2 whole days to clean them all. Inside, it's the same story. The chandelier in the theater room takes 2 people a whole day to polish. And paging Mary Poppins, there are 18 chimneys, all of them well over 120 feet high, way too high for a chimney sweep, so they haven't been cleaned in years. As descendants of the famous Champagne family of Veuve Clicquot, the one thing that goes hand in hand with fine dining in this house is, of course, fine wine. Deep below the castle, Larissa's family have converted the old dungeons into massive underground wine cellars.
This is our wine cellar where we present 3 different wines. Would you like to try this one? This
I would love to.
Anjou Village Brissac, which is, we have our own appellation, which is rather special.
Oh, that's gorgeous.
That's
That's very smooth.
Yeah.
The grapes for the wine are grown right here on Castle Brisac's 100 acres of vineyards, and they produce well over 1 million bottles a year. Incroyable! And it's not just the chateau and the vineyard that are on an epic scale. Brissac is nestled rather comfortably in nearly 145 acres of gorgeous parkland. There are woodlands, formal gardens, and delightful flower beds. It takes a team of gardeners and more than $50,000 a year to keep it so pristine. But it's worth it.
I've never helped anyone pick flowers before. There's always a first. Le dandelion, no? That was franglais. Okay. Merci beaucoup.
Thank you to you.
Au revoir.
Au revoir, monsieur. Bye-bye.
Merci.
Bye-bye.
The giant of the valley. Big on the outside, with a beautiful family on the inside. That's Chateau Brisac.
Coming up, I stay the night in a medieval keep and try and catch my supper. Plus, I sample the delights of Empress Josephine's bath in Castle Canissé. And I get lost in a maze in Castle Villandry's extraordinary gardens. I'm in France, and my mission? Visit some of the most extraordinary castles in the world and meet the people who call them home. Tough work, I know, but someone's got to do it.
Very comfortable.
My next stop is the medieval castle of Tenisseux, near the town of Angers. Originally built in the 14th century, this magnificent castle is home to the Freeland family. Nicholas, his wife Philippa, their children Lucy and Katie, and the dog Lulu. Can't forget Lulu. They bought it for $200,000 and have patiently transformed that pile of rubble into the ultimate dream home and bed and breakfast.
Wow, what a house.
Which is lucky, because I just happen to be looking for somewhere to spend the night.
I suddenly feel... Hello?
Hi, are you friend or foe?
Friend.
Friend. Okay then, I guess I'd better let you in.
Okay. Now this is... I've never experienced anything like this before. What an entrance. You must be Philippa?
Yeah, I am. Welcome to Tennessee.
Merci, bonjour.
Bonjour.
You don't have a garage door opener.
No electrics. It's all done by hand.
And you have to do that every time somebody comes if the drawbridge is up.
Yeah, that's it.
But how safe you feel.
I feel very safe.
It's your very own security.
Yeah, we're an island, in fact.
Castle Tenisseux was built more than 100 years before Columbus sailed for America. It's a medieval castle with 27 rooms constructed around a central fortified tower called a keep. It has 4 suites for rent, including the majestic Lord's Chamber and the lavish Sentinel's Chamber, which are both decorated in an authentic medieval style.
Come in. This is the kitchen.
Hello.
This is Nicholas, my husband.
Hi, Nicholas. Nice to meet you.
Getting Tenisseux to this level of luxury has been an 18-year labor of love. Renovating a castle is not like fixing up your average home. For instance, the walls are 7 feet thick. That's if you have any walls. Take the kitchen. It was like a bomb site.
So this is the hub.
This is the hub.
This is the hub of the house.
Everything happens here. We cook here. I work here. We do the homework here.
Obviously, this kitchen was not like this when you bought the place.
The ceiling, the roof wasn't here.
Right.
It was a ruin. It was a shell.
Did you have to get permission to...
You have to get permission from the state. You have to get state-approved builders.
Right.
Local building codes weren't the only obstacle. In the building, there were hundreds of feet of very, very old pipes. So they had to be replaced. No mean feat when you have to run them through those 7-foot stone walls.
And you wanted to make it look old, but...
Yeah, be able to function.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. The modern conveniences.
Yeah, like the dishwasher's hidden there behind that cupboard, for example.
All right.
When Philippa and Nick started renovating Castle Tenisseux, they thought they'd have the whole home finished in 5 years. Well, you know how that goes. No such luck. The house has taken 18 years and nearly $1 million to fix up. One of their biggest challenges was renovating the central entrance hall, which structurally supports the rest of the castle.
It's faulty because this is the lowest floor of the castle, and it had to have this kind of shape in order to support the weight of the rest of the stones on top of it.
Right.
It was the storeroom. against siege. This is a fortress.
Yeah.
Its principal function is resisting attack. And so they stored food here, arms here. They had animals up here too.
Now, what was in here when you first moved in, or you first came to see
Well, when
it?
we first came in here, there was nothing but bats. we had about 20 families of bats in those little holes that you can see up there. And so we would sit there on the telephone. I would sit there to my mum saying, "Hi, Mum," and the bats would be circling around upstairs, and it would all echo because there was no furniture in the room.
Leading off the entrance hall is a steep spiral staircase that winds up through the keep tower to the 4 guest bedrooms. What luck! I'm staying in the penthouse suite. Sadly, they didn't have elevators in medieval times, so it's a very long 76 steps to the top of the tower. Oof, I am getting too old for this. Still, at least it'll keep me fit. Oh, and there is one other advantage. It's great for home security. Well, if you've got a sword, that is.
Now, there is a particular reason why these staircases were built like this. If I'm correct in my history,
Yes.
It's from when, if I were battling you from here as I was coming down the stairs, I could balance myself and sword fight with my right hand.
Yes.
Is that right?
Whereas I had the problem because my
You're at the disadvantage.
right sword kept on catching on the stairs.
See, I was listening in history. I was listening. Now, I think the next room is my room.
Yeah.
Now this is what I call a room. It's beautiful, and at 52 square feet, it's big. And it has its own bathroom.
Oh, nice.
Well, this is the sentinel's chamber, which was where the soldiers slept, because there were all the window openings, and they
Right.
could see all the way around if the enemy was advancing.
I love the chainmail.
Yeah, the chainmail's really heavy, isn't it?
So heavy.
Yeah, it's real chainmail, but not ancient, of course, but made in the
No, but it looks great.
and it stretches. We could pull it out.
It also has a feature found in very few bedrooms.
And then there's the crossbow, and these would be the kind of things they put in it. And some of these are really quite deadly. This one's used for numbing the shoulder of a horse. This thick one here. That's rather nasty as well, if you have a look at it.
Ooh, because they would go in and then do major damage.
And they went very fast, and they were very powerful from the crossbow.
Well, I pity anyone foolish enough to break into this home. But of course, before they'd get this far, there's the little matter of the 8-foot deep moat running all the way around the mighty castle walls. Thankfully, the only things swimming in the moat today are fish, and daughter Katie tells me it's my job to catch some for dinner.
Uh-oh. Please tell me that's a joke.
Yeah, that's a joke.
I hope you're good at this and you're not going to tip the boat and knock me in.
Don't worry.
And you just sit and wait, right?
Yeah.
Sounds easy enough, right?
Here, fishy, fishy.
Anytime now.
So this is really boring, Annie. They're not coming.
Okay, I can't sit around here all day. I've got bigger fish to fry. Or maybe not, as the case may be.
Well, thank you for my cruise, Katie.
It's a pleasure.
Absolutely lovely. I'm sorry I didn't catch any fish.
So, dinner in the sumptuous Grand Hall was going to be a simpler meal.
Normally we would have been eating fish, but we've had to make do with bacon.
Oh, excuse me, is that a dig to the fisherman that I am not? Bon appetit. Bon appetit. Merci.
Well, you can't win them all. After a delicious dinner, it's time to retire to my medieval suite. Fit for a night, in more ways than one.
Wow, what a day. It's pretty quiet, so I think I'm going to get a really good night's sleep. But just wait to see how I'm served breakfast in the morning.
When we come back, breakfast served castle style. I get a teenager's take on medieval living. Plus, I stay at Castle Canisse with bathrooms fit for a king. And later, the castle with gardens so exquisite they're known throughout the world. Philippa and Nicholas Freeland have renovated the beautiful Castle Tennissu in the Loire region of France into an incredible family home and bed and breakfast. and I've just been lucky enough to spend the night.
Hi, John, your croissants are here.
Now it's time for a truly French petit déjeuner. That's breakfast to you and me.
Now, this is where I receive my breakfast. But in ye olde times, this was used for pouring hot oil down here on top of the soldiers that were trying to infiltrate the castle. But now, croissant, no hot oil.
To stay in one of the 7 magnificent guest suites costs around $90 a night. That's a real steal when the accommodation is as magnificent as this. Philippa has taken great care to ensure that each room has an authentic period feel, even down to creating her own medieval wall hangings.
This is the main hall. It's where the Lord would sit in front of the fireplace with his lady, and the lesser nobles would sit here and there. And at the end of the evening, they'd pull the tables back, and minstrels would come in, and dancers.
Before we go past this, you painted these.
Yes, they're all inspired by illuminations, which are tiny, very small, very intricate drawings with bright colours and a lot of gold, usually by monks.
But remember, Tennessee is not just a bed and breakfast. More importantly, it's also a family home. And not all the renovations have kept to the medieval theme. Just upstairs is Katie's room, fit for any normal 12-year-old girl.
Okay, obviously we know who your favorites are.
Yeah.
Johnny Depp, Leonardo. How did you feel when you first, when you were growing up and your mom had all her tastes in it?
It was weird.
It was weird?
Yeah.
When did you start to kind of do your own thing?
About 3 years ago.
Was there a little bit of an argument?
Yeah, I bet, but it was okay.
Next floor up, Katie's sister Lucy. She went modern rather than medieval when it came to decorating her room.
What do you think is the most difficult thing about living in a place like this for yourself?
I think there aren't many things. I used to have a bat, which used to live in my chimney. He was very practical. He used to fly around and eat all the mosquitoes, which was very nice.
In the room?
Yeah.
While you were sleeping?
Yeah.
This is one modern family living in a very ancient home. It may have a drawbridge and holes for pouring boiling oil, but it also has wireless internet, which is impressive when you remember the walls are 7 feet thick. The trick, place the receivers in the central stairwells. But for every modern feature, there's just as many authentic period ones. Philippa has given the gardens a medieval makeover with living fences, raised beds, and espalier-style fruit trees. And that's what's so wonderful about this castle home. The old and the new coexist and complement each other. Truly, the best of both worlds. The renovation of Castle Tennessee has taken patience, dedication, and some serious cash.
How much would you say you've spent? You bought the place for, is it roughly $300,000?
And we probably spent $600,000 on it.
So you're talking...
About $900,000 we spent altogether.
Right, and it's probably worth...
$2 or $3 million.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I can't tell you. That is due to the fact that that I've put in so much work.
Well, in those terms, then, for you guys, it's priceless.
It is, for us, completely priceless. I could never leave it because it's a part of me.
And I don't blame her. Castle Tennessee is enchanting, and I get the feeling this is one family who are definitely going to live happily ever after. Coming up, how about this for a family heirloom? Castle Tennessee has been owned by one family for almost 1,000 years. And later, those with green fingers will be green with envy at the sensational gardens of Castle Villandry.
Choosy mom.
It's a tough job, and somebody's got to do it. I'm at Chateau de Canessy, and this is one of 20 bathrooms in the chateau. It's a bathroom that is fit for an empress. And I say that because this is a direct replica of a bathroom that Napoleon built for his wife, Josephine.
The castle of Canissé sits on a 748-acre estate in Normandy, northern France. The history of this magnificent castle stretches back almost 10 centuries. The really incredible thing about this place is not just its history. It's been home to the same family for almost 1,000 years. The lord of the manor these days is Denis de Kergolay.
Denis, I'm from outside. It's a spectacular chateau.
He is the latest in a long line of de Kergolays who have lived here since 1066. The castle is steeped in family history, and the best place to appreciate it is in the grand dining room.
Now, would you consider the dining room, Denis, to be the heart of the home?
I consider it's one of the very important places of the house, with the kitchen. It goes with it. We are French, you know. Food is very important in our culture.
Of course. Who are these people up here on either side of the fireplace?
Oh, these are my ancestors of the 18th and 19th century.
Louis Gabriel de Kergolay was a captain in the army of Louis XVI, and his wife Justine was a close relative of Queen Marie Antoinette. While the king and queen lost their heads to the guillotine in the French Revolution, Denis' relatives took a very well-timed vacation.
In April 1789, they decided to go and visit Italy, and that's how they survived.
That's why you're here today.
That's why I'm here to speak.
Because of them, they're going to Italy.
Because of that, I pay a tribute to Italy.
Yes, so we do this. Thank you. Thank you.
Denis inherited Castle Canissé in 1977, young, free, and single. Let's just say it was party time.
I was a bachelor. I was not prepared, and I was thinking, well, what am I going to do with this 70 rooms in this place and just for me?
So basically what you're telling me is this house was a party house until you settled down, and then it became a family house.
We can say exactly that.
That's all right.
Since taking over, Denis has converted 17 of the castle's 50 rooms into some of the most luxurious accommodation in France. A week for a party of 25 will set you back around $41,000, and it's this money that helps pay the bills. What I love about Castle Canissé is that all this splendor isn't just for show. Just as a man's home is his castle, this castle is very much a home.
Most people, if they had furniture like this that was that old and that historic, it would be put away and kept and no one would use it, but you like people to use your stuff.
I like that this is a home where you stay as in a home. So a chair is not for the eyes, it's to sit on it.
It's for the bottom.
As I get the luxury of choosing my own room for the night, I'm going to choose the most spectacular. This is the Empire Room, decorated in the lavish style of the First French Empire of 1804.
Wow, what a view to wake up to. Now that's not the only reason I chose this room to stay in while I'm at Chateau de Canissé. French Empire is about bright colors and vibrance. Look at the canopy that comes down from the bed. It's a gold satiny material. The bedding is vibrant green. That then leads you up to the mahogany wood, which most of the furniture in the room is. It's just absolutely beautiful and fantastic.
And the bathroom, well, that's something else. It is a replica of the bathroom created by Napoleon for his wife, Josephine. The bath is solid copper and the walls and floors are lined in exquisite Italian marble. The renovation in this room alone cost well over $30,000.
Now, if you would like to have this bathroom or the entire chateau for a getaway or just a day out or even your own fantasy wedding, you can rent it for a mere $8,000 a day. That will give you accommodation for 50 people and, hey, bed and breakfast. What a bargain.
Coming up, how to heat a 50-room castle without sweating over the heating bills. The grandest gardens in all of France. And one heck of a roof repair bill when Keys to the Castle France returns. I'm exploring some of the most fabulous castles in France.
What an entrance.
Learning what it's like for modern families to live in these ancient homes. I'm staying in the lap of luxury at Castle Canissé, ancestral home and boutique hotel of Denis de Kergolay.
Born in 1803.
The castle may be 1,000 years old, but there are some parts which exhibit a decidedly 20th century flair.
Oh, flûte alors, as they say in France. But wow, again, this is completely different.
Yes, it's 20th century style Art Deco.
To buy original period furniture for these rooms would have cost millions of dollars. But Denis has an ace up his sleeve. The castle has its own craftsman on site, and he's an expert at recreating furniture that looks like it has lived here forever.
You can't go to a hardware store like we do in the States when you have to fix something.
If I would go in a supermarket to buy the windows, they will never fit.
And the man who makes your windows is Philippe.
Philippe the carpenter.
Philippe is the carpenter, and he's made somewhat, 84 windows.
Yeah, Philippe doesn't have to worry for his future until he retires. I have work for him.
He's shaking his head. No. I can already see from here that you have a bit of bling in the bathroom.
What is that? What does it
bling
mean?
is American. Well, this is what bling means. Woo! Look at that.
This bathroom is an exact replica of one made for George VI of England when he made a state visit to France in 1938. That one would be priceless, but this one was made right here at the castle by Denis' own craftsmen. A dedicated staff of 20 work year-round to keep it looking its best. That adds up to a year's maintenance bill of around $300,000. Ancient history sits side by side with modern-day comforts like central heating, but the logistics of heating a home on this scale are enough to get anyone hot under the collar.
Fuel is getting more and more expensive. The consumption would be 150 gallons, I think, per day.
That's very expensive.
It is outrageous. I mean, so we have to change the system.
At $700 a day during winter just for fuel, that's not just a blow for the wallet. That kind of fuel consumption isn't great for the environment either. So, Denis is utilizing a bit of 21st century technology combined with an ancient fuel source to heat his 16th century castle. Just like his ancestors did before him, he is going to power his new central heating system with wood.
The next boiler functions with the wood, and the wood will be provided by our property.
Because you replenish the wooded area, so you continue to have trees, and
Absolutely.
It will be a cycle that will continue.
Yeah. It's
environmentally friendly.
Yeah.
C'est bon.
Canissé is truly a magnificent castle, a place where new and old live together in harmony. Coming up.
Right now, I'm headed to a chateau that has a garden famous for love. Ooh la la. Looking for chateaux in the French countryside is literally quite amazing. And I happen to be lost in one of the most famous French mazes at Le Château Villandry.
Luckily, help is at hand.
Ah, et voilà.
Hello,
Henri,
John.
how are you?
I'm fine.
So you can help me get out of this.
I will try.
Henri is just being modest. Castle Villandry has been his home for most of his life. And what a spectacular home it is. Arranged around a U-shaped courtyard, Villandry boasts a medieval tower with 3 16th century wings, where there are 60 magnificent rooms spread over 3 floors. Some castles are famed for their lavish interiors. This castle is famous for what's outside, one of the most spectacular gardens in Europe. Villandry was saved from demolition by Henri's great-grandfather, when in 1906 he snapped it up for just $24,000. Today it's worth more than $20 million. How's that for getting your money's worth? He started with the renovation of the house and classical gardens, a labor of love that Henri continues to this day. Every year, 500,000 paying visitors come to Villandry to marvel at what many believe are not only the most beautiful gardens in Europe, but perhaps the world. And there's only one place to see them in all their splendor. The top of the grand ancient tower. Henri's sons, Joachim and Louis, race me to the top.
Whew. Look at this. Wow, the views are amazing.
There are 15 acres of ornamental gardens. That's around the size of 15 football fields. There's the Garden of Music, a vegetable garden, and my personal favorite, the Garden of Love. And there are over 30 miles of tiny hedges, each one manicured to perfection.
And these things are, of course, box
These
trees.
are box trees.
Box trees, yes. That's very important for the French garden. They have just been trimmed, you see. They have a perfect shape.
Perfect. My garden looks like this.
Henri has a team of gardeners planting over 105,000 plants every year. It's certainly amazingly beautiful. But what does it all cost?
The running costs must be huge for a place like this.
The maintenance cost, I think, is about $500,000 or a little more per year.
Wow.
Well, that's a cool $500,000 a year just to run the garden. And talk about raising the roof on maintenance bills. In recent renovation works, Henri had to replace a third of the castle roof.
I had to change completely all the wood, all the beams that you see.
This type of restoration, what would this have cost to do this?
So the cost of this side of the chateau was about $1.5 million.
Whoa, that's $1.5 million just to repair 1/3 of the roof. Do the math. One whole roof, $4.5 million. Despite the financial burden, Henri is still passionate about his historic home. He's recently unearthed drawings of a new garden planned by his great-grandfather that never came to fruition. This discovery planted a seed in Henri's mind to finish what his ancestors started.
So this is planting box trees?
Planting box trees, yes.
Well, I've just planted part of history.
You are part of the garden now.
I'm part of the garden.
Castle Villandry, truly a homegrown sensation. And a fitting end to my journey around some of France's most extraordinary castles.
Canissé, Villandry, Brisac, and Tenissou, all amazing chateaus. Now, did you know you could spend the night or even have your fantasy wedding at so many chateaus all over France? Some of them are off the beaten track, but they can be yours if you got the keys to the castle. Oh! 40 wings. Look, Ma, I'm dancing.